Hey everybody, I got two different camera feeds, two different points of view here. I just took a break yesterday because I was busy working and doing lots of clerical stuff. I just kind of wanted a day off. In the midst of getting so much done, I really just wanted a chance to kind of relax. And honestly, I felt a little bad for leaving you guys out for a day. The videos are available, of course, on my Facebook page to watch after the fact. They're also available on YouTube. I wanted to encourage you, if you have any questions about what I'm teaching and you want like a tutorial, you want like a specific pose broken down into its own video, you got a question about inversions, you got a question about balance poses, just write me. I'm happy to chat with you. If you want to video message me on Instagram or Snapchat, feel free to contact me. But I'm going to go ahead and get up to the front and get started. I wanted to explore a little bit of, I believe it's called, is it half moon? Anyway, revolved half moon, I don't remember. There's a standing kind of balance pose that I really like that I wanted to try today. So I'm going to build you guys up through it. We're going to start with sun salutes, just to kind of warm up. And we're just going to see how we feel as we get started, let practice develop. Again, if you have blankets, a towel, a belt, a tennis ball, a foam roll, grab it. I think that'll be beneficial and we can use those. If you don't have a foam roll particularly, a couple of blankets you can fold and make fit what we're doing quite well. So stand up at the front of your mat. Hips width distance between the feet. Parallel lines from second toe to heel. For a lot of people, they'll say it feels pigeon toe. I want you to move around, create some space, shake out your arms. Just get yourself moving. And always return back to the breath. If you ever feel something sharp, back out. If something is painful, back out. You can push yourself towards your edges, but you want to be comfortable while we are working. Big in-breath up. And slowly bend at the waist, bend the knees, swan dive forward. And slowly up. Arms up. Lift overhead, look up. And back to neutral. Back at mountain pose. Lift the kneecaps. Tuck the tailbone. Navel in towards the spine, shoulder blades back and down, palms at your side, arms fall away from the shoulder joint. The shoulder blades are generally kind of back and down, and there's a slight retraction on the head and neck. It's like somebody grabbed my ponytail and just pulled it back just a little. You just want to feel length up and out the crown. Big in-breath, arms up, and swan dive forward. Walk it out. Left to right, side to side. Feel free to move the head and neck. I have some issues with that because of that old trauma from the car accident. So I love being able to move my head and neck around and create space. We're still cold, still warming up. Feel free to move and mobilize the joints. Hang over your thighs. And big step back with the right foot. Runner's lunge, find your balance. You can bring arms wide or you can bring them to your chest. Left knee is over the left ankle. Lift the kneecap on the right leg. Straighten the right leg just a little. Engage in the front of that right hip. Arms wide. Swan dive forward. Left foot back, plank. Elbows into your side, lift yourself up. And slowly into down dog. You can walk the feet forward if that feels better to you. Had an ankle crack, not an ankle, my elbow cracked. Moving that around, side to side, trying to find some space as we're just warming up, mobilizing our joints, moving. Where we hold tension, you're going to notice patterns in your body. You're going to have a tendency to favor the poses that you like the most and go away from the poses you don't like. Lean into the right, lean into the left. Balanced weight between hands and feet. You can lift the head and neck and move it around. Don't worry about perfect form. Your form is different than my form, is different than everybody else's form. We'll work towards better alignment in the poses, but everybody's shaped differently, has a different range and mobility. What feels good to you? I can't see you, I'm teaching online. So what feels nice? What feels spacious? Step the right foot forward. Good balance here. Bring your body up. Got a knee crack there. See, little movements. Body creating space as we work. Hands in prayer if you want. Long spine. Lift and lengthen. Weight into the right foot. Step forward. Runner's lunge. I said runner's lunge, forward bend. Walk it out. Left to right. Side to side. Where do you feel tension? Tightness? Work on it. Move it around. Your body's not the enemy. It's not something to be overcome. It's something to become deeply, deeply accepted. Right where you're at. And slowly back up, back to neutral. Let your blood flow change. We had our heart above the head, now our head is above the heart. Changing blood pressure in the head. Breathe, feel where you're at. Do you feel like the mountain? Do you feel long, tall, and capable of being pushed over? Out the mouth. No tension. Big in breath. Swan dive forward again. Walk it out. Left to right. Side to side. Back and forth. Gonna step that right foot back. And I'm going to drop that knee. I'm going to create a little more stretch just in the front of the hip. I want to hang out a bit here, a bit more today. I felt a little more tightness on this right side. I've had some issues with this anterior right hip compartment. The quadriceps and their insertions feel kind of tight. They've also got some long-standing issues, I think, with my tensor fascia lata. And no, tensor fascia lata is not a Starbucks drink. It is a muscle on the outside of my hip. If I walk my body over, I feel like I get into that compartment in a way that feels really good to me. It feels like I've got an itch and I scratch it right there. Feel free to use your hands, your palms, wherever you want to be able to reach down into the front of the hips. There's no judgment about how deep into a pose you can go. Strength changes. Flexibility changes. It's all about working with your body where it's at. Honoring your range of motion. When you finish the class, are you more mobile? Yeah. You've created safety in your nervous system. Your body allows you to open up, to stretch, to mobilize in a way that feels good. I've come back to center here. I'm a little more facing the hips straight forward. This anterior compartment in the front of that right hip just wants that deeper stretch right through there. Now, if I've got enough balance, I can put a forearm on this left thigh. I can bring my body up. When my body is up, that's going to deepen the pressure in the hips. You tell me if you want to do this. If this is too much, you can always back out. You can go back down. It's going to take some pressure off. Where's your best stretch? Oh, right there. Now, this resembles much more what my practice is like when I'm just working on myself. Not teaching. I'm just hanging out. And what you're going to do is with meditative focus on that area, in that interior hip compartment. I'm going to be quiet for just a second so you can see what this looks like. You can hear me breathing through my nose or occasionally out through my mouth. Deep focus just on that one spot. Now, I've been in this long enough for me. I'm going to slowly back out by turning that foot up, bringing my body up, back into runner's lunge. Feels very different in the front of this hip. That was a deep, deep stretch. I'm going to forward fold, left foot back, and I'm going to actually walk that hip out. That was so deeply stretched forward, my hip wasn't even used to it. It feels like my hip's in a different spot. I'm going to drop down, elbows into the side, lift up. Move the shoulder blades, head and neck around. Open the chest. And downward facing dog. Walk it out. This allows me to bend that right interior hip compartment. It feels very different to me. Much more open, less restricted, even though before I couldn't have told you it felt restricted. But once I lengthen it that way, it feels like it's in an odd position because those muscles were likely tight, pulling across the hip joint. Bend your knees, roll your tailbone up. Slowly, you can begin to straighten the legs and drop the heels as close to the mat as you like. Where's your good stretch? It doesn't matter if we get the heels down. It doesn't matter at all. Out the mouth, out the mouth. If you got to relax the jaw, big pipe out the mouth. Just blow it out. Now, right foot forward, and same as the other side. I'm going to find my balance. I had a little crack on this hip. When I lifted that hip forward, the muscles and tendons through there are sort of working around the joint for stability. And now I'm moving this hip in a very different direction, complete opposite as before. And I feel almost like a little bit of a catch in that right hip. But if I had some injury there, maybe some tight muscles around it, I'm very gently going to explore through the range to feel what feels comfortable to me. Now, what's interesting is I don't feel any stretch in the front of this right hip. I'm sorry, left hip. I don't feel any of this. I feel a deep stretch right on the anterior. And I'm just going to honor where my body is at. Where do I want to go? What feels intense, but ooh, interesting. What's that? Is it when I let my knee go a little bit lateral? Or is it when I pull the knee into my side? You tell me. If you want more pressure, you can always bring the body up. I'm pressing the left top of the foot down to the ground to stabilize my kneecap. I can bend into this hip to drop as deeply as I want. What feels good to you? I like right there. And just like before. You can bring the hands down. I'm going to turn the left foot under, back into runner's lunge. Now I'll step forward. And walk it out, side to side, left to right, front to back. Little bit faster now. Big in breath, arms up, swan dive forward. Step the right foot back. Runner's lunge. Roll forward, left foot back, plank, drop down, upward dog, downward facing dog. Would you believe that down dog is the rest pose? Aha, it is. Once your body is adapted to it, this is one of my favorites, one of my absolute favorite poses. I'm going to step the right foot forward. Runner's lunge. And back down again. Down dog. Now this time I'm going to move the foot equidistant between the hands. I'm going to lift the left leg. Lift it up and shake it out. Open through that anterior hip. I feel more there. Might be my iliopsoas, maybe my QL. Getting a little bit of a stretch. The iliopsoas is in the front. The quadratus lumborum connects along the rib cage at the bottom, the floater ribs, and goes down to the iliac crest in the posterior. Now find your pose. What have I said about hand position? Forearms, elbows, shoulders, shoulder blades, spine, head and neck. Well, Iyengar would have very specific alignment for all of that, but I'm not there to instruct you. I'm going to drop the left foot down, equidistant between the hands, now right side. Then move it around. Feel free to move your hands and arms if you need to. Good stretch through my left calf, left plantar surface of the foot, and left hamstring. Semimembranosus, semitendinosus, biceps femoris. Aha! I know those muscles. Now walk out. Left to right, side to side. Lift the head and neck. Move it around. Create space. Now hop both feet forward. Forward bend. And slowly roll up. Breathe. Don't hold your breath. Continue to breathe as you go. I'm going to go ahead and restart this guy. And as we're going, primarily breathing through the nose. If you ever need to exhale out of the mouth, totally fine. If for some reason you're stopped up, just breathe. I had a class one time and a student just turned purple on me, but as purple as this shirt. I'm like, hey, are you okay? And they're like, I can't breathe through my nose. And I'm like, so breathe through your mouth. And they're like, yeah, but you told me to breathe through my nose. I'm like, you have allergies. You gotta breathe. So, as we go back to what would have been like down dog, we'll go ahead and start at mountain pose. Forward fold, step both feet back. Now, I'm going to step this right foot forward about halfway. Kind of halfway between the hands and the feet. I'm going to begin to straighten this leg. And I want to see if I can find my balance just on this one leg. Now, I could put my hands down. I could also put my hands, on my leg. How's your balance? You can let your head hang. It's all going to change the alignment there. And slowly step back, down dog. Deep deep stretch to that right leg. I'm going to do it with the left this time. Step it forward. Good balance on that left leg. Lift the kneecap. Quadricep is engaged just to support this tree trunk here. And I can lift as much as I want in that right leg. Doesn't matter. How's my balance? Can I put my hands on the leg? Have a little more balance on this left leg. Today at least. And slowly, right foot, back to down dog, hands back, down dog. Now I'm going to step the right foot forward again. I'm going to lengthen this leg. I'm trying to lift the left leg up and out and behind me. I'm trying to find the balance on this right leg. I'm trying to lengthen the leg, lift the kneecap. I want my hand reaching down below the shoulder. I'm reaching the left leg back and away at the same time that I'm reaching the right arm down from the shoulder. I'm going to lift the other arm to stretch equidistant, completely opposite direction, both palms facing the same direction. Now slowly, can you start to turn? Ooh, I tried. I was trying to stand on this leg and turn my body completely towards the camera. I'm going to switch it out. I'm going to switch feet. Arms can come down again. Left leg, opposite side. Right leg is reaching out. Left kneecap is lifted. Left hand doesn't touch the ground, but it reaches out below the shoulder. Right arm reaches up. Can you slowly start to turn the torso? Ooh, a full out. And everybody does. That's why we practice. Downward facing dog again. If you have good arms, good long length up through the shoulders, move the head and neck around. Move those vertebrae, create space. And walk your hands back. Walk yourself to standing in mountain pose at the back of the mat. Let your blood flow return to normal. Feel this huge blood rush down because I've been upside down for so long. Moving all that stuff and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Changing blood pressure. Now bring the feet together. And we'll bring them completely together here. Not like before, a little bit different. You're going to reach up overhead. Palms, fingers interlaced. Arms by the side, just the pointer fingers out. You're going to step out on the right foot. Big, tall, long leg. Now, fold forward. Point the left toes and kick them out and away. Lift and lengthen. Kick the left leg back. Bend at the waist. Right thigh is engaged. And up, come back. Drop the arms. If you need to shake it out and let it go. Feeling kind of cramped. Breathe. Now, last time I had my hands like this with the right thumb over the top. This time I'm going to switch. I'm going to put the left thumb over the top. Pointer fingers out. Up overhead. I'm going to reach out with the left foot this time. And the right leg stays straight, toes pointed, fingers forward, toes back, left kneecap lifted, abdomen squeezed into the spine, lift and lengthen. And step forward, mountain pose. Big in breath, up. And swan dive forward. Both feet back. Down through plank, lift up, and down dog. Now, either hip, left or right, we're going to do both. I'm going to go back into this because I want to get into that anterior hip compartment again. This is my problem side on this right side, so I'm going to focus on this one. Feel free to do the opposite. We're going to do both. I'm shimmying my hips just a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, just so I can lengthen into that sweet spot in the anterior compartment of my right hip. Right in there. Brought my body over to the side. This is not ideal alignment, but it's allowing me to stretch into that area I have problems with. I'm kind of turning my body this way to access the front of that hip in a way that feels amazing. This is one of the most deep, kind of juicy stretches I've done all day because it gets into that area where I need it. I need you to pay attention to your body as you work, not fight it, not force it. What does your body tell you the pose should feel like? Always go back to teachers who know more alignment. When you can, take in-person classes. I'm turning my hips and almost like dragging that right knee forward, creating some resistance where I feel it right in the front of that hip. Oh yeah. Now I'm going to switch it out. I'm going to bring that left foot back. Down dog again, and right foot forward, and slowly down. And again, I felt less on this side, it was more the right hip again, but we're going to see how the left feels this time. Yeah, it's still definitely in my case feel more on the right hip, get a little bit of activity in the left, but not nearly the same. Breathe. Toes under, hands down, step the right foot back, down dog again, walk it out. Left to right, side to side. And I'm going to walk myself up. Mountain pose, back of the mat. Grab your belt. If you do not have a belt, you could use a towel, something like that rolled up. You just want to be able to wrap it around the bottom of your foot so you can mobilize through there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hop back onto my mat. And because we've opened up, I walked over, I had a little crack in my knee, I had a little crack in the front of my hip earlier. This compartment, when I walk around right now, I feel like I have a very different hip because of that deep stretch. I've had some tightness that feels like it's pulling this hip forward. You're just working on little subtle asymmetries. Everybody's got different strengths. Everybody's got different weaknesses. Everybody's got more mobility or issues. You just work with your body where you're at. I'm going to lay down on my back. And I'm going to bring my hair up so my head can rest down. I'm completely on the mat. I'm going to wrap this around my foot, right at the ball pad of the foot. Now, I can just hold with my hands, or if I have a long enough belt, I can wrap it to get a little more grip. Feels a little more firm to me. Now I'm going to pull the foot back towards my face. I feel a long stretch from the plantar surface of my foot back through the gastrocnemius and soleus and down into semimembranosus, semitendinosus, biceps femoris, right into the ischial-tuberosity. If I want to increase that, I can pull the arms up, Or if I have my leg bent like this, it takes the pressure off, which may be beneficial to you if you have a bent leg, if you want to lessen the pressure. If I want to increase the pressure, I want to move this guy out. Now, if I let it rest on the ground, that has one effect. But if I lift it and strengthen my abs, oh, I get a shake. So now I can move this left leg around while I'm lengthening the right hamstring. I can move it around any way I want. When I start to drop it down is when I start to shake. Now, if I just want to hold that left leg in position, what happens if I pull just a little more on that right side? Now, people have a tendency to want their foot to roll like this. I want you to take the strap, the belt, and I want you to gently pull the pinky toe back towards you. Pull the outside of the foot back and down and see if it doesn't change that stretch down into soleus, down into the plantar surface of the foot through the Achilles tendon. I'm going to bend that leg. I'm going to bring this guy down. I'm going to rest my legs for just a second. Now, when I put both down, what do you feel? What's the difference between the right leg right now and the left? Because all I did was that one single stretch, right? That one single move. Everything else we've done bilaterally. This leg feels more open. It feels almost like it's longer, like it's more spacious between my joints. You're looking for that sort of ease, that poise in your whole body. When I did mountain pose, I always have problems with my cervicothoracic junction, that space up at the upper back and neck. But I had a car accident, so I probably got a little bit of arthritis right there. When I do a forward fold, I feel those vertebrae move, and it's like an old creaky door. The rest of my spine just goes, hey, we're moving, cool. And when it gets to my upper thoracic, into my cervical, it's like, aww, creaky. It's like a door. Aww. The crypt keeper, right? I'm going to pull this left toe back towards the face. Long, lengthen the leg. If I want more, I can reach out with the right and move this guy around. Mobilize wherever I want. I can hang it out, do a little bit of work on my abs. Squeeze the leg in, creating a length. Now, most people's feet, they're going to want to turn like that. I want you to roll the outside portion of the foot back towards you. You're going to feel the depth, probably in all of the soleus, back of the lower leg at the calves, right through the plantar surface of the feet, maybe out the toes. And again, you can move this other leg around. What do you want to do? I feel some interesting motion. It feels like this right hip wants to crack because those muscles have softened. It feels like that hip joint isn't quite settled, like it's trying to figure out where it wants to be. Now, I'm going to take that foot out. I'm going to relax both hands. Now, both legs, same time. I'm going to reach up with one foot, ball pad of the foot is the location. I'm going to reach the second foot right next to it. Hopefully your belt is long enough that it'll allow this. You can reposition the feet. Now, the feet are side by side. When you pull down, it's like you're pulling the outsides of the feet, the pinky toes back towards you. Now, you can bend as much at the waist or as little as you want. If your legs aren't completely straight, what's wrong with just bending a little bit? If this to you, if you do this, and let's say I was working on the hamstrings, and for you, for some reason, you're like, ooh, my low back, my lumbar. Let's say you bent your knees and you pulled forward and you're like, oh, you get this exquisite stretch in the lumbar spine. Do that. What I'm really trying to teach you to do is work on your own mobility become aware of your own body, be able to strengthen and mobilize in gravity so you can live a good life. Yoga. Yoga is just training for life. I'm tucking my chin back and down, lengthening my cervical spine, pressing the back of my head down. You can straighten the legs as much or as little as you want. If I bend my knees, it's going to pull just a little bit more. If I pull with my arms into my lumbar, that feels pretty open to me. I'm going to work on my legs for a second. Big in-breath. As you exhale, tuck the chin, lift the head forward, and back down. And slowly, I'm going to walk the legs out, side to side. And windshield wiper the knees, back and forth, opening up, creating space. The little bit of a twist feels good to me, so I'm going to lengthen this left foot out on the floor, or bring this right leg up and over. I can bend or lengthen that leg as much as I would like. I'm going to roll it over. I'm going to reach that right arm out. I'm going to turn my head to look the opposite direction. And I want to try to stack my body in such a way that I'm just rolling open, vertebra by vertebra by vertebra. Right arm, right chest and pec falls open. Left foot falls towards the floor. Breathe through your nose. And slowly, you're going to roll back to center. Now I'm going to reverse it. I'm going to lengthen the right leg on the floor. Bring the left leg up and over. Now, I can half the distance between the foot and the floor and the hand on the floor. It's like I'm trying to stack so that my body has still got weight pulling it out and open. You can straighten the leg or bend the leg as much as you want. Does not matter. The primary movement is the spine. This long, slow, sustained twist. Much tighter on the opposite side. I feel much more spacious over here for whatever reason, but I'm just taking note of that. It really sort of, if you can see this on camera, I'm sort of extending my palm, reaching out through the carpal, spreading along all those joints out through the arm. And then slowly I'll roll back onto my back. I want to bring my knees up. And I want to roll just a little bit, right on my sacrum. I can hold at the knees, I can let go. When I roll over, the left side of my sacrum, right at the SI joint, there's a little tenderness right there. Feels like there's some shifting. When I roll on the right side, it feels very secure and solid, but the left side is a little more risque, like kind of off. There's a little tinge of pain when I roll that way. I'm going to wrap my arms up and over the knees. So I might have to struggle to do this. If you're like me and you got a belly, you're going to have to reach around it. I'm going to pull those thighs in towards the belly. Squeeze in the abdomen. I'm going to press the chin back and down. Shoulder blades back and down. It's hard to talk because I'm squeezing over my diaphragm. Can't breathe very easily, but do what you can. Just pull, squeeze the thighs into the abdomen. Pull your knees up. And let go. I'm going to bring the feet down and together. Now I can move the heels further away, or I can bring them up. I think you can fall wherever you want to. I want you to try to focus on the adductors, the muscles that bring the thighs in, the Suzanne Somers muscles, right? So I want you to put yourself in position where these muscles can just lengthen and fall open. Do I still get length if I'm down here? Sure. But it's also changing the position of the hip joint in a way that feels comfortable to you. And that's what we have to do. It has to feel comfortable to you as we work. I'm going to bring these guys up in my case. I can bring my hands, if I want, up and behind my head. Feels like this would be a nice support, something different for my head and neck. Let the legs fall open. If you need to shift and push the feet further away or a little bit closer to your bottom, feel free. Just lengthen through there. Big breath. As you exhale, tuck the chin, roll the head and neck up and forward. You'll notice that I'm not working my abs, I'm just lengthening my neck. Now, back about halfway, now squeeze your abs. Squeeze your abs. Bring the legs up, squeeze your abs. Pull your knees in. Pull your elbows towards your knees. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now lengthen the legs up and hold. Pointed toes, legs lengthened. Slowly lower down towards the ground and lift yourself up. 5, 4, 3, 2, one more. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Squeeze. Now hold. Legs wide. Pointed toes. Pull the legs back and open. Grab the sides of the feet. Bend the knees. Hips. Happy baby pose. You can rock and roll side to side. Big in breath. Squeeze. Tuck the chin. Look down and forward. And back and down. Adductors again, just let them hang and fall. Always playing with movement. Make your practice fun. Don't make it boring. When I look at classical yoga poses, you want to improve alignment because you want to decrease the potential for harm or injury. But the practice is supposed to be fun. It doesn't mean we don't ever have adversity. It doesn't mean it's not challenging. It doesn't mean we don't develop strength or flexibility and work on our boundaries, test our edges. But you want the practice to be fun so that you can continue with it. It's interesting. And I'll bring my knees up. I'm going to roll up so I can check and see how much time we have left on our camera here. See how we're doing. Yeah, I'm going to restart this guy. And we're going to work on the last little segment and see what we're going to work on. I'm going to tie up my hair again since it came down. And I think in my case, what I want to do is go ahead and stack myself on the foam roll. If you don't have a foam roll, you might have an extra yoga mat. You might have some blankets. I want you to roll up a pretty sizable blanket or two. I want you to roll these guys up into a big roll, tight, like this. That's going to approximate just about the size of this foam roll, give or take. But the foam roll is much more firm. I prefer using this if you have one. If you don't have one, don't feel like you're left out. Go ahead and take that blanket and roll it up. I want to stack the foam roll in my upper thoracic spine. I want it to be generally level from left to right. I can move my hands and arms around if I need to see where it's at, where it's positioned. And I've noticed that this area for me feels much better because we've been doing the yoga practice. We've been working with you. It feels like more open. I usually feel more stuck, but I have some areas that are tense, dense, and tight. But because we work on it, it doesn't bother me as much. Now, I created this big stack right here, okay? I took these blankets and made a big stack because I'm trying to prop myself on the foam roll so I can, oh, there we go. So I can put my head and neck back in a way that's going to feel comfortable, okay? I've still got that bun in my hair if I need it. But I'm trying to see if I can move the foam roll into a spot in my thoracic spine that feels good, and then relax my head and neck back. Reposition this just a little bit. I can stack it higher. I can stack it lower. I can lift my body up. What feels good to you? Now when I do this, I can work on some quad strength. I can also lift and lengthen through the posterior. The shirt was getting caught. Good movement through the vertebra there. Once I hooked, it's like I took my feet and it was like I pulled my body down just a little bit. It feels like the foam roll is like grabbing this big chunk of skin across my thoracic spine and just tractioning those vertebrae down and away. And I get this little bit of pull because of the blanket being stuck on my head and the neck. It feels like I'm tractioning, like I'm lengthening through the thoracic spine, lengthening those compacted vertebrae. It's like in my neck even, I feel those cervical vertebrae, C7 through C1, just lengthening right there. And here's the thing, if I turn my head to the right, turn my head to the left, which way? Do I want to look up? Ooh, I want to look down? Ooh, I like down. I'm going to bring my hips up just a little bit higher because that feels good to me. Now this to me is the lazy yoga. If I got to a point where I just wanted to sit, I will grab another foam roll and put another foam roll underneath me so I can prop. I'm going to bring myself down because I don't have one right now. I'm going to scoot down just a little bit because it felt like I wanted to move down that way. It felt like it had more stability, more structural integrity. If you're tired of your arms being up ahead, overhead, can you bring them out to the side? Can you bend at the elbow? Can you roll forward? Can you roll? Yeah, sure. Any direction you want. What feels good to you? Just decrease strain while working on a spot. I still mainly feel that through that upper thoracic, through my cervical spine. But again, that's a problem area for me, right? So I tend to want to do this all the time. If I can, maybe once a day, just to open this area. As it roll up and down, because there's this pressure from the blanket, there's this little head tuck. When I roll down, it creates a little more length on my neck. It feels good. Now, if we bring the right foot to the center, can I balance on the right foot and lift the left leg up? Oh! Now, can you play with that movement? Great length in the thoracic spine, in the neck while you do it. I'm going to walk that left foot down right where the left foot was. I'm going to lengthen that left leg up. Do you notice, is it harder on one side than the other? Ambidextrous. Ambidexterity. Right hemisphere controls the left side. Left hemisphere controls the right side. And advanced meditators show more balanced firing across the hemispheres, with information crossing equally across the corpus callosum. Aha! Biohacking. Now I'm going to move a little bit lower and see. No, not quite there. A little bit lower. Yeah. So I've almost got the foam roll now down as a pillow. The blankets aren't even really being used. I'm hooking right into the cervical spine, and I'm going to undulate from side to side, trying to find a good spot to open up. Do I want to tuck the chin? Lift the head? Do I want to look up and back? All totally fine. Just go slow. These are more delicate structures. I can move the foam roll higher. I can move it lower. I can hook anywhere into those problem areas in the neck. For you guys who have problems with this area, this is amazing, amazing broad work. How broad is the foam roll compared to my forearm? That's where you're getting all this amazing pressure. Now I can kind of tuck, right there. Right at splenius capitis, right at the base of the skull on the right side. Almost makes my eyes roll back in my head. Breathe. And to the left. I want to do the same thing, left side, change my hip position just so I can lean to that left a little bit more easily. And I'll feel nearly the same tension. Do you notice how I feel more pain on the left side, but I feel more tightness on the right? Don't know. Just differences. I'm going to hook the head and neck back. I had a little spontaneous cavitation as I move my neck there. Right. Oh, yeah. So this big broad line up and around my temples. Up and around the temporal bone, feels like it goes back to my sphenoid, back to my temples, almost behind my left eye. Right there. Ooh-wee. And I'm going to reach down and grab my tennis ball. Hopefully you have one. I'm going to put my head and neck in a mostly neutral position. I've moved the foam roller right to the base of my skull because it feels like I've got a good pillow here. I could just rest for a second. That left and right side was pretty intense. I'm going to move this down to my gluteals. And this is all fleshy along the sacrum. I just want to feel, where do I feel tension there? And I'm almost dead center in the keister. I'm right along piriformis. Form of a pear, Latin, piriformis, pear-shaped. I'm hooking right along the sacrum, like if this was my tailbone, and this is out over the sacrum, kind of in the middle, right along this border here, where piriformis comes and inserts on the inside of the sacrum. Right in there. If I want to go a little bit more lateral, oh yeah. Now I'm going to let my leg roll out because I know that's what I want, is a little more lateral. Now, the more I lift this left hip, I can lift the left hip on top to give myself more pressure. I can change the position of this leg in any way I want. I can straighten it out. I can bend it. I'm going to press the foam roll just a little higher. I'm going to press the back of my head down I want to strengthen this posterior cervical spine by tucking my chin and pressing back. I'm in retraction here. But I want to use that for a second to kind of strengthen these muscles. The extensors of the neck, not the flexors. I'm going to roll off of the tennis ball. Move just a little bit more lateral again. Holy moly. Oh, I got some stuff. There's some gold. Oh, in there. Feel a broad kind of referred pain. I'm pretty clearly in gluteus medius on the lower portion. It's more to the outside. It's more lateral. So I'm hooking that tennis ball right into gluteus medius, and I feel some referred pain down the IT band, and that's what people are having problems with. It's not just vastus lateralis. They're having problems with gluteus medius and the nerves that feed down the outside of the leg. I feel like it pulls right into the joint, right at the outside of my knee where I've had a problem. I can move the head and neck around any way I want. I can lower the foam roll. I can work on both. I can work on, oh, splenius. Could I stack? Oh, yeah. Now you're working two spots. Usually my work is going to go this way. It doesn't matter if you're working on somebody else. It doesn't matter if you're working on yourself. You can do two things, which means you work on a primary position, and then you add secondary and tertiary elements. And just because I know my body, I'm going to move just a little bit more lateral again. Oh, right there. Oh, that's such a good spot. I get this dull ache because it's getting real close to the tensor fascia lata. Latin again. I'm not even sure exactly what that means. Tensor fascia lata. I look that one up. Leaning into that right hip, I feel this dull ache. It doesn't feel like the other. The other felt like just kind of a nervy kind of sensation. This feels like there's something off. There's something about this tissue that it's very tight and it's referring pain down to the outside of my knee. I, for a moment, just stopped focusing on my neck because it was so intense in the hips. And then slowly, I'm going to roll back onto my back, back to center. I'm going to change that tennis ball, opposite side, opposite glute. I'm going to go a little closer down towards the tailbone, kind of roll it open. No, not much there. Go a little bit higher, kind of piriformis. Yeah, there's a little tightness. You'll notice that I just stacked this leg. So one, these adductors, gracilis, adductor magnus, can kind of lengthen and fall open. But it's massaging into piriformis, into gluteus maximus. Move the head and neck around. Where do you want to apply pressure? What feels good? What's going to make you feel more relaxed, more released as we move toward Shavasana? Not as much tension on this left side. You're going to move it up into the, ooh, okay, that's a little better. A little higher, a little more gluteus medius, a little more lateral. A little more to the outside. I'm going to rock my hips just a little bit on that spot because that feels good to me. And I felt the sensation just start to diminish. I'm going to move again, the tennis ball a little bit more lateral. Now I'm above the greater trochanter, the bony knob right here. People say that's your hip bone. You're in between that and the iliac crest. There's this fleshy junction over here, gluteus medius minimus. I'm going to roll my hips just a little bit to the side so I can stack. Oh yeah. Oh, right there. Breathe through the nose. Don't hold your breath. I'm going to drop this right hip. I just wanted to feel what the pressure was like if I brought, ooh, yeah. For me, it was like I needed a little bit more pressure. So if I bring this right, oh, right there. Ooh, tender, tender, tender. I'm taking weight off by leaning back on this right leg or leaning in by bringing it forward. But play with your own body positioning to try to open up that space. And my hip, again, popped. I felt this little plunk right on this right hip where we open that guy up some. I'm going to roll my head and neck to the side. I'm going to put the tennis ball out of my towel so it doesn't roll away. I want to check and see how our time is doing again, see if we're getting close to being finished. And let's see, what do we got here? What time is it? Yeah, we're just a little bit over. I'm going to go ahead and go into Shavasana. Just follow along with me. I'm going to move the foam roll and the blankets out of the way. I'm going to lay down on my back. And in my case, I take the bun out of my hair. Bring my head up and above. I'm still solidly on the mat. And just like always, I'm going to lift my head and neck up and away. I'm going to press the back of the head down into the mat, tucking the shoulder blades down and away. Down and away several times. Then I'm going to lift my bottom and roll out my spine. Hips width distance between the feet. Arms down at your side. Breathe deeply through your nose. If you need to shift, if you need to lift your hips, if you need to bend your knees to create a little space so that arch in your low back to feel comfortable, do. Relax your feet, relax your legs, relax your knees, relax your hips, relax your back, relax your shoulder blades, relax your upper, lower arm and carpals and hands. Breathe. Relax your throat, relax your jaw, relax your scalp. Every breath, all tension dissipates. I want your muscles to relax so much that it feels like the bones start to fall down towards the ground. If we were on a ship on the ocean and I threw a gold coin off into the water, flicked it, bling, it hit the water and just sink. Oh, down through the water, down through the depths, all the way down, and rest in the sand. Let your bones sink down, just like that gold coin. Breathe through your nose. Scan your body. Are you holding tension? Is something tense? So instead of avoiding the tension, can you gently focus on it? Can you squeeze the muscles around that area of tension? Hold it. Squeeze. And then on the exhale, unwind. Relax. Ease. Poise. Grace. Soft. Wiggle your fingers and toes. And slowly open your eyes. You can roll comfortably onto your right side. Kind of fetal position. And then using your arms, you can bring yourself up to seated. And backs of the hands on the knees, pointer and finger and thumb touch, either hand. Long spine, long and tall. Big in-breath, long spine. Crown lifted up and out of the shoulders. Palms together, prayer position, big in-breath. And as you exhale, round forward. You can shimmy your hips if you need to open and stretch through there. Honoring your practice today and all your patience. And a happy body that allows you to practice. Thank you and namaste. So, tomorrow I will be out tending to other activities. But I will probably resume on Friday. I'm going to have these videos again up on my Facebook page and also on my YouTube channel. I wrote a really fiery, kind of ornery blog post from some questions from a student about the massage industry currently. You can read that on my website. And again, here on Facebook, the whole video will be here. Here on YouTube, both the portions from a different audio source, slightly different camera angle. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you again soon. And if you want to do anything for me, share that link for the free trial subscription service from the store on my website. You'll find it here on the Facebook page. You can share it if you guys want to join that. There are 500 hours of my courses, classes, curriculum, and instruction there that you can observe and handle and work with. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you again on Friday. If you have any questions for me, feel free to write me wherever you are.